good job by picking off that probe really early, and that allowed him to do this build. So I mean, it sucks for Stork, but well done by Kwanro.
Yeah, I guess it was a really smart play, and especially considering that it's a best-of-3 series, and so opening up with, I wouldn't call it a cheese opening, but it is a cheese opening. I mean, it was an all-in hope that your opponent doesn't smell it coming build, and, it hurts, though, because now Stork is going to be down 0-1, and so Stork is going to have to play super careful against builds like this, because if he loses another game, he's going to be out of the MSL. And Kwanro's shown that he's not just a cheeser. He can play a real strong, straight-up game, and I think Stork is going to be in trouble here, Stork definitely has the ability to win 2 games, but if Kwanro gets lucky or if Kwanro plays solid, just all he needs to do is win 1 more game. And I think Kwanro is really looking forward to trying moving on. I mean, he did make round of 8 in 1 MSL, but I mean, he really wants to get far, kind of like Tempest. He's kind of an not really up and coming. He's been around for a little while, but he really wants to make a name for himself, and this is going to hurt. Stork is a completely solid player, and, even after seeing this game, I still think Stork could sneak away a 2-1 in the series, but he's going to have a problem. I think we're going to see some real exciting clutch games here from both players coming next week.
Yeah, I think the mind games part is really important. I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, Kwanro has just shown that he's capable of doing these builds, and Stork's gonna have to really worry about it in every game. Wow, Stork with an epic hold here, actually killing all of the Hydralisks and getting the Overlord. Although he's still really fucked. I really think he's gonna come back in this game. He's got 1 super hurt DT, not a lot of probes, 1 gateway, and fucking a whole bunch of like half burnt out cannons. So he doesn't really. There's not much he's gonna be able to do here. Just kind of fighting and hanging on. But yeah, I think the mind games part is really important. So now Stork has got to be really careful in all the games. He's gonna have to play really safe because he knows that. I mean, Kwanro could just kind of go play really risky, gamble in both games, and 50-50 is all he needs. If he wins one of the games, he moves on. So I mean, that's gonna fuck with Stork's head. But like, I still have to pick Stork as the favorite. If for the most, I mean, this is the worst map out of the map pool for Protoss. So I mean, personally, I think this is a pretty good ZVP map. He's got looking forward to Destination Byzantium 2, which I think are both pretty strong for Protoss. So yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking him as the favorite, but like, it's gonna be a really exciting series now. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Kwanro.
One question I have, and not being a Protoss player, I don't quite understand this as well, but I mean, we've basically been seeing these Sayer openings just being trashed so hard by the Zerg. This 3-hatch early Scourge build has been really nullifying this harassment build, and to see Stork go for a build that wasn't so safe against a Hydra bust, but at the same time wasn't, the map distance is so big, and I think that Kwanro would have been easily able to fend off the Sayer DT opening. I mean, Stork didn't put down any early gateways. I mean, he pretty much went textbook Sayer DT, which has been so unsuccessful lately. I mean, what do you think his decision-making process was for going for this build order? I mean, sure, it was a safe build, but like normally, if I would have guessed that while the Templar Archives is building, he would have put down 3 additional gateways and gone for a more aggressive +1 Zealot build, but he just went for the same Sayer DT opening that everyone's gone for so far, and I don't even know if, I mean, he would have had not to say that he couldn't have won, but he would have had a tough time this game, just in the standard game.
Well, you know what? I mean, he could still have been putting the gateways down. I mean, it was a little late, but he's still like he saw the you have to keep in mind that he saw the Hydralisks before he had a chance to put down a lot of gateways. So he could have gone into a standard game. I mean, you don't have to put down gateways really early. You don't even have to really go for a timing push. I mean, a lot of the time what Protoss are doing, I mean, you go Sayer DT tech as a defensive play rather than an offensive play. You don't have to harass with it. Just a really good all-around, all-purpose build. You finally see the GG there a couple seconds ago, but this game's been over for a while. But getting the Sayers is mostly a defensive build. I mean, going for Sayers quickly and going for Archives really quickly is really defensive. It allows you to get DTs early for defense. It allows you to do a Storm early in case of a Hydra break. Unfortunately, the one weakness is a 2-hatch Hydra break. But for instance, if Kwanro had gone for a 3-hatch or a 4-hatch mass Hydra kind of thing, Stork would have had Storm in time, presumably. Or at the very least, if not Storm, he would have been able to clear out the Overlords above his natural, and he would have been able to use DTs to keep the Hydras off until he got Storm. So that's why I said it was a really good timing for Kwanro. Like, if he had waited just a little bit longer, Stork would have gotten those Overlords and he would have held it off. So, I mean, maybe you can argue that playing defensively is not good against the recent Zerg style of heavy macro, but, you know, you kind of really have to be as safe as possible when you FE. When you FE, you're taking a lot of risks, and that's why the Sares are so popular. I mean, the +1 Zealot's timing push is also nullified by these aggressive early economic builds, so it wouldn't really do you much good. I mean, you might be able to put some pressure on the Zerg, but it wouldn't do you much good. I am surprised that we're not seeing much more of the 4 gates 2 Archon kind of play, but who knows? I mean, Stork might have even been wanting to do that here. He just didn't get a chance to put down his gateways quite in time. So I think it's mostly the Sare to 1 Reaver Robo, like with the early Robo before Storm. I think that build's really been getting trashed lately, and I don't know if Stork was doing that here.
Was originally dominating with a lot, but it kind of not. So
lately, it's really been getting trashed. It hasn't been right. So that's been getting shitted on. But in terms of just like starting off with a normal kind of Sare opening, that's still pretty safe play. Like, Sare DT is not necessarily harassment build anymore. It's just kind of the standard safe opening because it kind of like it allows you to cover all your bases.
Right.
That's I
almost like an FD. It's not really a fake push. It's just kind of like the standard. It's a safe build. Gotta understand that a little bit more. But yeah, I guess we're kind of just going off on Terran or TV or ZVP at this point. I mean, that game pretty much, you know, although it was shocking, I mean, it was pretty much not too shocking after we saw what was going to happen. I mean, Kwanro, just good timing. I think he had pretty good control, you know, but there's not a lot Stork can do with no speed zeals. He kind of had a walled off thing, so he couldn't pull his probes as well. But, you know, still tough and good timing from Kwanro, and I'll definitely be looking forward to the next games of the series. That's pretty much every single game we've seen so far. God, I can't believe he got that drone in the beginning, though.
Yeah, that was such a huge play for him and just really embarrassing to Kwanro. But at the same time, like, I don't know if that made him sloppy, because then he lost his probe way too easily, and that's kind of what cost him the game. I mean, you lose your probe that early, the Zerg can pretty much do whatever the fuck they want. If he had kept that probe alive for another 30 seconds, you know, it would have been a different situation. I mean, Kwanro would not have been able to do that so early, because if you keep that probe in there and you see him start mining gas with all 3 drones, barely pumping any drones, and not putting down a 3rd hatchery, I mean, you know what's up. Obviously, you're not going to keep the probe alive once Zergling speed gets up, but you have to keep it alive as long as possible. And really, most of the time, you should not lose your probe before he has Zergling speed. So, I mean, that kind of, you know, that cost Stork the game pretty much, and it is his own fault, but well done by Kwanro. No more can you say.
Alright, so GG's,
I'm just
guys.
looking forward to the next game.
Yeah,
GG's.
I guess that wraps up our cast for this week of the MSL. We have the next games, the second and third set of the top half of the bracket with Luxury, Flash, Leda, all those awesome guys, and we're gonna get those up. You know, probably they're gonna be played Thursday, so probably Friday night. So, you know, I guess peace out. Oh yeah, I want to throw in about the website. We've been pretty much getting awesome amount of hits. If you guys haven't seen our preview video, we're going to try and do a fantasy MSL, and we're just going to have, like, if you guys just go to the website, just click on one of our AdSense banners, and, you know, I know it's not like what you're supposed to do, but we're just building up a fair amount of prize pool, and we're going to do a fantasy MSL thing. So if you haven't done that already, do that. And we pretty much, like, raised already $16 out of 3 days, which is phenomenal, considering you get, like, 20 cents or something a click. So just keep doing that. If you've done it already, you know, don't abuse it, because we'll easily make, you know, our $150 goal. But just to be a Jew, I'm going to keep mentioning it all the time, because if you haven't done it, I want you guys to do that just so we can have a sweet fantasy MSL prize, which, I mean, it's benefiting everyone. None of the money's going towards us. But, you know, I just want to leave the game note on that, and, you know, I'm done. See you guys later.
One more thing, man. One more thing. We're also look forward to having. We're gonna have a new site layout pretty soon. So I know.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, that one looks bad.
Kind of ugly.
We're already switching it up.
Yep. So any day now. Might even Well, you know, it's not ugly, but I mean, it's pretty fucking plain. So like,
Pretty generic, yeah.
Badass shit, yeah. Like we're gonna have a badass site layout coming up. I mean, maybe even by the time you guys are seeing this, by the time these games are up, like who knows? But it's definitely around the corner for the next day or two. So fucking keep logging on at 2009msl.com and check that shit out. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up, man. We'll see you guys in the next broadcast. Hope you enjoy the games. Peace out.
Peace.